Now let me tell you something, brothers. A lot of men do not avoid healing because they do not need it. They avoid it because they have seen what people call healing. They have seen men lose their fire, lose their backbone, turn every conversation into a therapy session, and forget how to stand upright. And some go the other direction. They open the door to the pain, feel the anger rise, and decide to stay there. Now everything becomes someone else's fault. Everyone becomes the enemy. Every conversation turns into a courtroom. Neither one of those roads leads to strength. Healing is not about becoming soft, and it is not about becoming hardened. Healing is about becoming clear, clear enough to choose your response instead of reacting from wounds you never addressed. Clear enough to move forward without dragging resentment behind you like dead weight. Most men were never taught how to heal. We were taught how to endure. And endurance will keep you alive, but it will not teach you how to walk correctly. Endurance says, push through it. Healing says, fix how you move. Now here is the danger. Some brothers discover healing and believe it means letting everything slide. No standards, no boundaries, no backbone. That is not healing. That is confusion speaking softly. You see, real healing does not make you weaker. It makes you wiser. It does not erase your edge. It sharpens it. And when healing is done properly, you do not lose yourself. You finally learn how to lead yourself. Because this is where many people misunderstand the work. No standards, no backbone. That is not healing. That is avoidance disguised as maturity. Then there are other brothers who uncover old pain and turn it into fuel. They become sharp. They become defensive. They stay prepared for a fight that never ends. Hear me. That is not healing either. That is pain wearing armor. Authentic healing does something different. It strengthens your center. It does not diminish you. It does not harden you. It makes you steady. And here is how you know healing is working. You do not feel the need to prove yourself. You do not feel compelled to explain yourself in every room. You do not need to win every conversation to feel secure. You become grounded enough to let certain things pass and firm enough to stand when it truly matters. Now, listen closely. Healing without structure becomes emotional. Healing with structure becomes practical. You do not relive the past every day. You learn from it and refuse to repeat it. You do not speak endlessly about your wounds. You begin recognizing patterns and changing behavior. That is growth. And yes, anger will surface. Anger is not the enemy. Anger is information. It tells you a boundary has been crossed. The goal is not to eliminate anger. The goal is to prevent anger from becoming your identity. Anger is meant to inform boundaries, not dominate character. Healing allows you to feel anger without living inside it. The same is true with vulnerability. Vulnerability is not exposure without discernment. That is honesty without wisdom. Real vulnerability is honesty with containment. You do not open your life to everyone. You open it to people who have earned access. That is maturity. So hear this plainly. If healing makes you weaker, you are doing it incorrectly. If healing makes you bitter, you are also doing it incorrectly. Proper healing produces this: a regulated nervous system, sharpened judgment, stronger boundaries, an increased capacity to lead. And here is the part most men miss. Healing is not a season. It is not a phase. It is not something you complete and move past. Healing is a process that runs quietly in the background while you live your life. You do not sit around healing. You build, you lead, you adjust. Healing supports the work. It does not replace it. And let me add a piece that I will address in a later conversation. I know it may be challenging at times. However, the past will screw you up if you do not get a handle on it. Because every time a person remembers a past experience, the body reacts as if it is happening again. The same chemical process activates. The same emotional response fires. Stress hormones, tension, and memory link together automatically. What does that mean? The body does not distinguish between a real event and a vividly remembered one. To your nervous system, memory can feel like reality. That's why old experiences, especially painful ones, can still shape how someone thinks, reacts, and feels decades later. 15, 20, even 30 years after the original event, the body continues to respond as if the threat is still present. Over time, those repeated memories can become part of a person's identity, not because the story is fully accurate, but because it's familiar. Research shows that memory is not a perfect recording. Each time a memory is recalled, it is slightly rewritten. Details change, meaning shifts. Emotion intensifies or distorts. Yet the body responds the same way every time. Your body is responding as if it's under attack, sometimes dozens of times a day. That is not reflection, that is rehearsal. And rehearsed trauma becomes a lifestyle. No human being can live in a constant state of emergency and still expect clarity, health, or peace. You're not just remembering the pain, you're training your body to stay stuck in it. And until that stops, the past will keep running the present. Listen, you don't change your life by thinking differently once. You change it by training your brain and body to live in a new state. Here are 3 foundational ways to do that. Number 1, break the habit of being yourself. Stop living on autopilot. That means the same thoughts, the same emotions, the same reactions. Repeated thoughts hardwire the brain. Repeated emotions condition the body. Together, they lock you into the same life. To interrupt the pattern, you must identify it. Notice your automatic reactions. Catch emotional triggers in real time. Stop rehearsing the same mental stories. Refuse to emotionally relive the past. This is discipline. Awareness alone isn't enough. You must interrupt the pattern. If you keep thinking the same way, your brain stays the same. If you keep feeling the same emotions, your body stays addicted to the past. Number 2, rehearse the future and elevate your emotions. You must create the future before it arrives. The brain does not know the difference between a real experience and a vividly imagined one. When you combine clear intention, what you want, elevated emotion, gratitude, joy, wholeness, you begin wiring new neural networks before the change shows up in your life. This is not wishful thinking. This is neurological conditioning. The key rules: don't visualize from lack. Feel as if the outcome already exists. Practice daily, not emotionally, but deliberately. Emotion is the signal that teaches the body a new future. Number 3, regulate the body to recondition the mind. You've heard the saying, free your mind and the rest will follow. What it really means is this: the body must follow the mind, but only after it feels safe. You cannot change your thinking while your body is stuck in survival mode. Stress keeps the nervous system anchored in the past. To change the mind, you must first calm the body, slow the breath, lower stress hormones, create coherence, alignment between the brain and the heart. Teach the body that it is safe to change. Things like meditation, breathwork, and stillness are not spiritual escapes. They are biological resets. Once the body stops signaling danger, the mind becomes teachable. If you take nothing else away, remember this: the core principle behind all 3 is simple. You don't think your way into change, you train your way into it. New thoughts lead to new emotions. New emotions lead to new behaviors. New behaviors create a new identity. An identity is destiny. Science and experts agree on this. Awareness breaks the loop. Emotion rewires the brain. Regulation frees the body. Real change doesn't happen by remembering the past less. It happens by becoming someone new, consistently enough that the body believes it. As long as you believe your identity is anchored to your past, you will keep reliving it, chemically, emotionally, physically. Remember, the nervous system doesn't know the difference between the original experience and the reminder of it, even when the memory is incomplete or inaccurate. That's why healing can be so difficult. It's easier to blame old circumstances for current outcomes. It's easier to point outward than to look inward. But here's the truth most people avoid. Real change doesn't happen through time alone. It happens through internal transformation. Change begins the moment a person stands up and says, "I am not my past," and stops letting old memories preach louder than present truth. That's where healing starts. So if you have avoided healing because you feared losing your edge, hear this good news. When done correctly, healing gives you one. If your body learned this state, it can learn a new one. The same brain that memorized stress can be trained for calm. The same body that learned survival can learn safety. The same mind that rehearsed the past can practice a better future. You are not broken, you are trained, and anything that was trained can be retrained. The moment you choose awareness over autopilot, regulation over reaction, and intention over memory, your body begins to believe in something new. That's not hope. That's not luck. Science explains how change happens. Faith reminds us why it's possible. The brain can be retrained. The body can be renewed. And the spirit was never meant to live in bondage to the past. What science calls neural pathways, faith calls transformation. What science calls regulation, faith calls peace. You are not broken. You are becoming. And when intention meets discipline and belief meets action, the mind, body, and spirit align. That is the right perspective.